The main goal for this session is to implement this form over here with the logic behind it to actually go ahead and create a new item for us, as we are going to do right now. Work out in the morning. And we hit this plus button and we should send the request to the server and get the response back. So let's get started. Welcome back. Ahmed Muzaffar with you, and right now we will implement the creation form for add a to-do item. So let's go ahead and get started. Regarding the design, as you have seen at the beginning of the video, we are going to follow the exact same design of the edit or the card of the to-do item, but there is going to be no check button. It will just be a description and a save button on the right side. So let's exactly do the exact same thing. Here I have to-do items. I will implement a to-do item. Create to-do item for .razor. So here I'm using again the add new file extension. You can hit Shift F2 and then you can just add file very quickly, easier than right click, add new item and so on. But you can still, like, this is just a productivity tip. I'll put the link for this in the description box below. So I will click on add new file, and here we go. We have our form. So as we always do, let's set the namespace to PlannerApp dot components. Right, components, yeah, that's right. And let's add a code section over here. This code section, we should have the ability. Okay, let's hit save multiple times. Okay, I'm gonna close and open that file again. Okay, here we go, and I can export this block to a code behind file. Okay, now let's inject some stuff. The one thing that we want to inject is, of course, the famous library that we have just created, to-do items service. Let's call it to-do items service. Here we go. That's it. And we will add some typical variables. Pool is busy equals vols, private string description, which is the one that will be used for the text box. We can set it within a form, or we can just like basically not use a form at all. So, and what we want to set as a parameter as well, we forget that, which is the plan ID, right? Because we want to know, like, for which plan we are creating, we are adding items, is busy, description, and we have, so basically for now this is enough. Let's go ahead and implement the UI. As we have said, it will look like very similar to the to-do item.razor. Like, you remember this, so we will take this dev and we will add it over here. So now we have this dev, but let's add some margin top and bottom, which is my, and let's set a padding from top and bottom as well, or no need, like let's stay on this. And all what we need is just like a text field, exactly like this one. So I'm gonna take it, this one. This is my text field that will contain, that will represent the value will be bind for description, and on the right side of this there is going to be the add button. So I'm gonna take this save and put it over here, and then instead of save I will make it like plus. Let's see, do we have a plus? So let's see if we have an add icon. Yeah, we do. We have an add icon. Okay, that's great. We have this success, and yeah, we need to change this behavior, and I will call it add to-do item async. To-do item async. So this is the function that will be called whenever we click on this item, and what we will do when the user clicks save, we want to remove this icon and show instead this button, and show instead a spanner that actually like show the user that we are doing something. So to do that, I'm gonna do add if is busy, and if I am not busy. If I'm not busy, so add this button, please. But if I am busy, then make sure to show me, it is called, let me remember what was progress. Yeah, it's called the progress. Here we go. This is exactly what we need. So I'm gonna take this one, the primary one. Let's take it and paste it over here. Oh, again, I don't know why sometimes it's not copying from the first time. So this is it, but we need the exact same class as well. So it will take exactly the same place of the button. This function is not yet implemented. This is all what we need. So let's go ahead right now, and I will call the label new item description. This is what the label is gonna be, placeholder equals going to the gym. For example, this is one of the items. That's good. That was pretty simple. Like if you want to know more about this, if you haven't watched the previous video, I highly recommend you to watch the video number 30. Yeah, the video number 30. So where we have implemented all of these styles, and right now we just copied and pasted. So let's implement this function right now that's going to implement the real logic of adding a new item to the plan. So actually, all what we have to do, this is going to be a very simple function. So private async task. Oops, sorry. Here we go. So we're going to set a try catch. This is to handle handle errors globally. We are going to do that at the end of when all the business logic is implemented. We will going to implement a general error handler, and the other kind of error that we want to catch is the API error response exception. Sorry, what was called? I forgot the name of the exception. So it was called API exception. Sorry, yeah, API exception. And this is the exception when something went wrong from the API, and it is when like a bad request 400. And all what we do right now is actually private string error message equals string dot empty. So we are gonna show the error message over here. I'm gonna say error message equals ex dot message. Like this. For the unhandled errors, like something went wrong in the server, internet connection went down, so we are going to handle those errors globally. But this one, for example, you have put a very long description, or you send me nothing. This is where it's error from the API, but the main cause is the user. And over here, outside this, we are going to say is busy equals false. And whenever we call this, we always gonna set the error message back to empty, because if the user clicks save and then an error shows up, when he clicks save again, we want to show the previous error, hide the previous error. Now, all what we have to do is to say var result equals await HTTP or to do item service dot create async. And it will ask me for the description, which is the description. And it will ask me for the plan ID, which is the plan ID that's being passed as a parameter, right? And this is it all, right? We don't need anything else. What we have to do right now is just to say, basically, let's set the description back to empty. String.empty. And we need to create an event callback that will notify the parent, which is the plans list, the plan dialog details that a new item has been added. So we just add this item to the UI. And to do that, we are going to add a parameter, public event callback. and it is of type to do item detail, to do item detail. And we'll call this on item added, to do item added. Look at that, on to do item added, and we are going to fire this event dot invoke async, and we are going to pass result dot value, which is like the to do item came from the API. We can use await over here. Okay, so call the API to add the item, notify the parent about the newly added item. This is it. This is very simple. Now we still have a little bit of work in the UI to be done, which is this is the text box. We are going to use some of the built-in features in the mod Blazor text box, which is great, like error and things like that. So let's see how we can do this. We are going to type error. Is error how we will know if there is an error or no, when actually the error message is not equals to, or when a string is null or white space the error message. So this means when so this means this is going to be true when this one is not null or white space, right? And what is the error message itself? It's just like it is just basically the error message itself, error message, and required equals true. They have a built-in required, and we have the required error equals to text description to do item description is required. This is all what we are going to do, and we can also, because right now we haven't used form, like it's just a simple string, so we haven't added a form for this. We can also validate for the required also here. Like we can type if string that is null or white space the description. So if it is like that, then set the error message equals to description is required and return. And here we should run the is busy, set it to true. Okay, cool. So we check if the description is not null. If it's null, then we show an error message, and then we set is busy to true. We call the API, and then we set back the description to empty, and we notify the parent through this event callback that a new item has been added. In case of the error, if it's a general error, we are going to log that later. In case if it's an error from the API, like an invalid input or things like that, we show this in an error message as well. So this is it. It's pretty simple. Now let's go to the plan details dialog, and over here, those are the mocks that we have set, right? So let's add create. What it's called? Yeah, create to do item form, and it takes a plan ID, which is the same plan ID that is available, and we have on to do item added. We are going to call this one on to do item added callback. So this is going to be a function that receives a to do item detail as a parameter. So let's go ahead and go to the code behind file and implement that very quick. We are going to implement this private void to do item detail to-do item. And then in that case, okay, let's see if it's working. Yeah. So for now, we are going just to show a console, because in the next video we are going to iterate over the list and show them one by one. But we are going to set it in the console just to make sure that the item has been added and it has an ID .id, just like that. Let's add one more description. Okay, here we go. Once it takes an ID, so this means it has been added in the API. Basically, this is it all. Now we are ready to test this implementation. Here we have an error. I think this is just because of Visual Studio. Let's hit run and see the result that we have. Okay, the application is being running, and we are ready to test this awesome form. So I will open the developer tool so I can note the communication between the client and the server. So remember my decision, open up DevTools and go to the plans. Let's go to the network section. So the networks section actually shows me what is the request that this client is sending to the server and what do we expect. Here you can see all the files, CSS and the images and all the things. We don't need that. So if you want to filter on only the HTTP request, we can click on this fetch XHR. So let's open up this plan. I will click on this. And now you can see we are calling get plan by ID. And here we have this amazing form, right? It looks very good. The to-do item description is required. We are going to remove this error from directly the text box, and we are just going to leave it when we click the plus button. And if we click this plus button, we are going to see that description is required. So let's try to type something. I'm gonna go for walking at the evening. Right, and then we'll click this plus, and look at that, it has been created. A new item has been, if we click, we can see all the details. Like this is the header, a post, and the status code was 200. So this means it's okay and it has been created. If we go to the payload, this is what we have sent. We can open up, we have sent description and the plan ID only, and this is the preview. This is what you have received from the API. A success true. Message to-do item created successfully. Open up the value, and this is what we received. This is the ID coming from the server. And if we go to the console window, we are going to see this description, and this is the ID. So the process has been implemented successfully. Only one little thing that I didn't like, which is like this stuff. So let's go ahead and remove it from the create to-do item. I will just remove this required, and we'll keep this error that we fill it from the backend or from the code behind file, and this is it. So we have right now a lovely form, and nothing else is needed. And I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to continue to support us to continue and doing more amazing things that hopefully you like and you enjoy, and also useful for you. In the next video, we are going to now we will iterate over the added plans and to-do items and show them within the card that we have created, and then we still have to implement the delete, edit, and the check and uncheck a to-do item. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.